Welcome. Yes, you have found your way to Revolutionize Your Marketing with John Petros Sr., sponsored by Mill City Marketing MA. And I'm Kurt Roskopf. I'm on the road. We're making it a full day here. I'm out of Wisconsin, and I'm traveling from Northwest Wisconsin back to my home in Southeast Wisconsin. So we're enjoying a sunny Wisconsin day. And I bring you Revolutionize Your Marketing thanks to our friend, John Petros Sr. He's the creator of this whole thing. He's the operator of Mill City Marketing MA. And he and I are collaborating on marketing all the way around. I operate World of Ability Podcast Network, and we are pleased, proud, and privileged to have John bring to us, as always today, Revolutionize Your Marketing. He is like really excited today. He's got a guest that I don't know if you'd say the guest today is his favorite, but he's very familiar with today's guest. And there's new developments. We're going to have some reporting going on. We're going to have deep insights. We're going to put all the cards on the table. So if you want to see a show that is just really covering it from all angles, this is going to be the show. This is going to be a signature episode of Revolutionize Your Marketing. So let's, without further delay, because I'm good at delays, we're going to bring in John Petros Sr. We're going to figure out this shenanigans with this guest. John, what's the scoop? What's the scoop? You've got me on, the back, not on the edge of my seat. I'm on my backrest. I got these bucket seat in the car. I got my chauffeur. I'm running in Suber. This is a great service. Look at that. Service with a smile with Suber. So I'm in good hands here. The dashes on the road are going by. We're cruising, moving, and it's a sunny day. So I could be doing a lot of other things, but no, I'm here on your show, John. What are you bringing us today? I hear it's like really juicy. You got a twist. It's like a unique episode today. This is fantastic. Tell the audience what you drummed up for today. What's the date today? March 27th, 2026. Mark this down in your journal, folks. This will be a new experience. John, what is this new experience you bring today?
Well, welcome, folks, to Revolutionize Your Marketing. We're going a little bit off the usual track today. I am, shall we say, my own guest today. That's right, Kurt. So
What
don't go
is
too
this
far
like?
away.
Is this like new to the industry? Has anybody in the industry ever done this before? Oh, I'm Kurt
Hey,
Roskopf, and I'm my own guest today. That's the new one. I'm gonna have to spread this around the network. This is the
it's
concept.
called, that's why it's called Revolutionize Your Marketing.
Oh my gosh, you turned that one on a dime. Way to go, John.
Anyways, folks, for those of you out there listening or watching the replay, I am John Petros Sr., owner of Mill City Marketing MA, and I'm coming to you from the lovely state of, Massachusetts. I'm right up at the New Hampshire line, if anybody knows anything about Massachusetts, about 40 miles kind of north of Boston. Um, Not too bad. It's nice area up here. We got sun today. It's a little chilly, but I'm gonna set some light on who I am to begin with. What I do at Mill City Marketing is primarily I do a lot of ads on social media platforms, 30-second video commercials on live stream TV, um, like Disney Plus, Hulu, and all the Paramounts. Radio ads all across the country with iHeartRadio Network, folks, the biggest radio network in the country. I do about a year and a half ago. I fell into this podcast thanks to my buddy Kurt. I was joining someone else on her podcast, and she kind of went off on the side, and I kept her podcast going for her, thinking she was coming back. She didn't. And the third week, Kurt, the nice guy that he is, asked me a simple question. Have I ever thought of doing a podcast? And I said, well, I was thinking about it. He turns around and says, great, why don't you start now? My first podcast was 10 minutes after that question. That was a year and a half ago, folks, and I'm still here. So I got to be doing something right. Um, I'm also an ambassador on a business networking platform called Alignable. I have an alliance up here covers Northern Mass and Southern New Hampshire. I'm approaching the 300 mark on the membership on that within 1 year. I do in-person networking in my local area up here. So anybody listening from Massachusetts or Southern New Hampshire, please join the platform if you're not. It's a great place to be. They are now at 10 million businesses through the US and Canada. That's right, Kurt, you heard me. 10 million. They're up again. Um, that's up from like 3 million when I first started 2.5 years ago with the platform. So it's a very worthwhile platform if you're a business owner. You meet businesses from all over the country and Canada. But getting to today's episode, I am also a founding author in a book that's about to be released in a week or two, I believe. There is a newer group on Alignable called Business with a Purpose. There's a couple thousand of us on there, and it's growing every day. And two of the people just have been publishing books for a while. One of them is a writer, a ghostwriter, publisher. They've put a book together called Built with Purpose. This is what the cover is going to look like, folks. And in that book is 42 authors, all from Alignable. I am privileged to be one of them. No, my picture did not make the cover. But we all have a paragraph in the book. Every author has their own paragraph. Some are 1 pages, some go all the way up to 4 pages. And this particular book is the first in a series of books, by the way. We simply tell our story, how we got started as an entrepreneur, where we came from, how we got started in it, and some of the things that we went through on the way to where we are now. And the main thing is why we do what we do. Half of these people on there, I can guarantee you, are very well known on the platform. They've got numerous connections on the platform. Some of them have had multiple businesses that they've built and sold. So with 42 people in the book, you can only dream of how much knowledge is contained in that one book. It should be coming out in a week or two. It will be available on Amazon at a price of, I believe, $18. Considering the knowledge and the experiences that are in this book, it's a very, very low price for the book. So keep an eye out for that. And another thing that they are doing is they already have the next 3 books out. Not out. They're working on the next 3 episodes of the book. One is for women in businesses. Another one is for veterans with businesses. And the third one is, shall we say, entrepreneurs that went through a change, transitioning from one to another, or from a 9 to 5 job to being an entrepreneur, and they'll be able to talk about their experiences and what they went through to make that switch. Those are the next 3 episodes to come out. They are already accepting authors for those books. They are limiting it to 40 authors in each book. And to get into the book, there's 2 ways. One of them is, let me check here. It's around $900 to get in and get a chapter. It's limited, the stories will be limited to, I believe, 1,000 words, which can amount to quite a bit, especially if you don't use big words. And the next one up, there's a little bit more that you get with the second plan, and that's just shy of $1,500. With the $900 package, you also receive 10 copies of the book that are yours to give away, share. You can even resell them and keep the profit. The other package for $1,500, you get 15 copies of the book upfront. And if you're interested in any one of those 3 books, go to builtwithpurpose.org. They're in there. They've also put together on their site a bookstore where some of them that already have books out have put their books in the bookstore. And you can click on their books and it'll go to Amazon and right to the order page for their books. Easy to find books that these people have already written. And that's going to be expanding the availability of books on that. And there's another series coming up that they are working on. I'm not going to reveal that one yet until it gets close. So these people are actually doing a really good job at getting these ideas for businesses and support for local businesses that are looking for it. They're getting the knowledge out there of how this is done. And anybody who's having problems with a business, getting it going, you might get all your answers right in that book. But again, if you're a business owner and you're not on the Align platform, my question is, why not? There's people on there that can help you if you need help in pretty much any field you need help in. I know I'm connected to about 2,600 of them. So if you need marketing, get a hold of me and you need help with something else, guaranteed, I got people I can connect you with that'll take good care of you. So that book, Built with Purpose, should be coming out in about a week or so on Amazon. So it'll be available around the world. And the price is going to be about $18, I believe. So keep an eye out on it. Any questions about the other 3 books? Simply get a hold of me. My email is millcitymarketing@gmail.com. Or if you want to set up a one-on-one and have a talk, go to calendly.com. That's CALENDLY. I got it right this time, Kurt. .com / Mill City Marketing MA. And just click the button for one-on-one conference and Any questions you have about the books, about marketing, feel free to get a hold of me, folks. Any questions for me, Kurt? I see that look on your face.
Well, that means everybody saw the look on my face. Uh-oh. I got caught. Okay. All right. So what do you get in return for doing this book? If this thing sells 1 million copies, what do you get out of proceeds from the book?
As authors, we can order amounts of the book at a special author's price, which most authors do. And we have them, we can autograph them and resell them and keep the profits.
Okay, so when
And
when the price of the book for each author is there, that's to cover the expenses of getting it out into the marketplace and publishing
yeah,
it, marketing it, and collating it, and
yeah.
all of that type of work. So with what you put into the book, I don't know what you wrote on, but it's a book about purpose. So John, what is your purpose?
My purpose is to help small business owners get their businesses known the way they should be, get them the help that they need to grow their businesses. I've seen too many of them when COVID happened not come back, and some that did couldn't get their customer base back to survive. My whole purpose is to help them build their businesses big enough that if something like that ever happens again, hope to God it doesn't, um, that they'll be able to survive and not have to close their doors. Um,
So so John, when you were a kid and you looked out as a kid to the world of business, what do you remember when you think back to your childhood? What are you thinking? Like, what do you hold on to today? Like, what businesses made an impression upon you as a kid that you still remember that? You think back and, oh, yeah, I remember this company and that company, and these were the commercials I was watching. Name some of these things from your childhood.
I remember a lot of small stores, even small chain stores that used to be around that no longer are because these bigger businesses came in, had more money to spend on marketing, got known better, and these smaller businesses ended up closing down. Prime example is I grew up shopping at a supermarket called First National, right up the street from my house, walking distance. And it was a great little supermarket. There was probably 12 of them around in the local towns and things. And these bigger businesses came in and basically put them out of business. My attorney actually now owns the building where the supermarket was. But and especially the small independent businesses, you have to remember, folks, this country was built on single on entrepreneurs that own small businesses. That's what built this country to begin with. Granted, some of them expanded. There's a supermarket chain around here that has been in the news a few times. Uh, Demoulas Supermarkets, better known now as Market Basket. Family-owned supermarket that started right here in the city I born and raised in, Lowell, Mass, is where it originated. I wish I could say the first one was still there, but it's now a parking lot. They have grown that business. There was two brothers that actually ran it for a while, and like two brothers that own a business end up in an argument. there was a court battle. One bought the other one out finally, and he's been expanding it like crazy. And now his sisters, who are still involved, have more or less used a board of directors to kick him out of office as CEO. Um, After all the work he put in, he got a loan to buy out his brother. And in 3 years, paid that loan off. As soon as the loan was paid off, the sister stepped in and kicked him out as CEO. And some of his very close employees also gone from the business. It's still a court case out of New Jersey. Haven't heard anything lately about it that I'm actually curious about. But it just goes to show you when businesses get big. I mean, that supermarket is built up to 40 stores throughout New England now. Um, and that just goes to show you some businesses, when they get the money coming in, they take it too far and they just want more money, more money. Um, Small businesses, single entrepreneurs, they're not like that. They're still the backbone of the country. Most businesses, I just looked at the figure the other day. I think it's like 90% of businesses are solo entrepreneurs. So small business is still the backbone of the country. And that's why I'm so hyped about getting them built enough where they will survive other businesses, larger businesses coming in, taking over their territory, shall we say.
Yep, there you go. So let's talk more about the national and global businesses from your childhood. Like I'm sure you remember, like Walt Disney and MGM, and name some of those companies you remember from childhood that maybe even the Mars candy company, that but what are some of these companies that you think of as you think of your childhood?
I actually just drove down a road that goes, I say, through a, a, a company. They have buildings on both sides of the roads and they got a bridge that goes across. So I call driving through the company. Um, they used to produce, they used to produce in that plant very fine, which was a product, the very fine juices was across the country. That was made locally up here. I don't know what happened to the company, but it's not there now. Um, so yeah, some of these big companies. My sister actually worked for a, a department store called Zayas. I don't know how far out they went, but I know they had quite a few stores up here in New England, and they are no longer around. One of the big companies in downtown Lowell, almost right in the center of town, Bon Marché. I know they had quite a few stores all around. They no longer exist. Um, Restaurants, restaurants. There was a ton of those that used to be around all over the place, and they're not now. Um, there's so many of them that aren't around that I used to know of. Um, Talbot's, that was another department store that was really good. Um, there's one that either just closed or is getting ready to close in New York City, one of the big ones. Um, I want, I think it might be Toys R Us? I forget what the name of it is, but there's one of those big department stores. And if you've ever been to New York City, folks, um, in Manhattan, around Times Square, those are not small businesses. I've been in a lot of them down there when I was down in my few trips that I've had down to New York City. Especially love the Hershey store. No place like the Hershey store in New York City, man. And even the Lego store down there. Life-size dinosaurs made with Legos. Where else in the country can you find that? But yeah, the large businesses are having a hard time now. Why? Because they're all marketing on social media. You can go online and shop at pretty much any one of those big stores. And what's that doing? It's taking business away from people going into the store. Another big company that was around, Sears, Sears and Roebuck. They had a large office building in Framingham, I believe it was, Natick, Mass, Framingham, Mass. Um, that completely shut down years ago. The store is no longer around. You can still buy appliances that Sears made. Um, Trying to find parts, that's another story. Um, Another company that my father worked for, General Electric. Lowell was their big wiring plant where they made all kinds of wires and cables. Uh, that place shut down the Lowell plant. Um, God, quite a few years ago. My father was still alive at the time. And now one of the buildings that was still there, they redid, and it's now housing for students for the college. Um, Nabisco used to be in Lowell, in one of the old factory buildings, and they're gone. Um, there's a lot of them around here. Lowell was part of the Industrial Revolution in the beginning. That's why I have the name Mill City Marketing. And that's why this show is called Revolutionize Your Marketing. Because Lowell, where I was born and raised, was part of the Industrial Revolution.
Look at that. It comes back around full circle. Look at that. We're getting a good color commentary of everything around this show. Tell you what.
But by the way,
John,
Lowell, Massachusetts is celebrating their bicentennial year. So that tells you
that's,
how old that goes to show you how old the mill buildings are in Lowell. A lot of them
yeah,
have been transferred into apartments and condos.
gotcha. So I want to keep on this childhood thing here with your youth. What did you tinker around with in terms of, little things you did as a kid? Like some kids, they like do like a lemonade stand or something like that, or maybe as a boy you were, doing the newspaper routes or something. Did you tinker around with stuff when you were a kid? When you were younger, you did a job of some sort?
Um, no, well, I'm 67, folks. So we're talking decades ago. Um, my neighborhood that I grew up in, there was a lot of kids. We were known, especially in the summertime. Wait till I tell you this one, Kurt. Our biggest thing was playing hide and seek with kids in the neighborhood. There'd be like 15 to 20 of us playing hide and seek. And the only boundaries that we had, you couldn't go past the street on either side of my street. Anywhere up and down the block. You want to talk about hide and seek? one game started right after school and ended when it got dark because I grew up at a time where when the street lights went on, you went inside.
Sure, gotcha. All right, so John, when was your first job? What's the first job you ever had in your life?
The first job that I had, um, my brother actually got me the job working at a company called Deck House at the time, making prefabbed homes. Um, I worked in what they called the stain room. They used to pre-make the windows, get them glazed and everything. Big, huge windows, small little crank out ones. And the they used to treat the wood after it was all cut and milled. We used to soak them in this, I call it a horse trough, because that's what it looked like. Big long tank. It took a couple 50-gallon drums of preservative mixed with a stain. And we dipped the wood in there, stained them up on an angled wall that was like this up in the back. So all the stain as it dripped off would run back into the tank. And you're talking anywhere from 2-foot pieces of wood to 8-foot pieces of wood standing up on this wall. Funny story when I was in there. I mean, the tank must have been almost 20 feet long. We had the whole wall almost filled all the way up. And I had this old guy I was working with at the time. He was like in his 70s, I think it was. Put up one of the pieces of wood, and if it slipped, everything on that wall was coming down. And where does most of it go? Splashing into that tank. But when all that wood started falling, he went one way and I went the other way. And let me tell you, he was faster than I was. He was not getting splashed by that stuff. And then I went into the window department where we actually put the windows together. And we used to get the blueprints for the houses. They had standard houses, but they also did custom houses. And I can't tell you how many times I sent blueprints back to the drawing boards. They had doors opening up that wouldn't open up all the way because the bathroom sink or the toilet was right in the way. They had glass in there was panes of glass that was in 2 different rooms. Can't put a wall in the middle of glass. What they do in that case is they make it wood in the middle, so the wall would fit up against the wood. But I sent so many blueprints back to the drafters. Um, my boss didn't say anything about me looking over the blueprints because he knew I'd find something and send it back. Um, those were basically the 2 jobs I had. That was my first job. And that was in Acton, Mass. And after that, I went into the retail line of work. I went to work for, well, yeah, I went to work for Channel Home Centers. That that company they were up and down the East Coast. They bought out another company down in Texas, and they shouldn't have bought that other company in Texas because as soon as they did, they started going downhill. They shut down. Um, I actually worked up until the last day that my store shut down. Um, then I went on and I did pest control, believe it or not, for a year. That was fun. My own boss, out on the road by myself. I just had a stack of jobs I had to go do, and once I did them, I was done. Had some long days. I covered probably, I'd have jobs different days and probably half of the state of Massachusetts. Um, but I had a company car. That was the best part about that job. Then I went on back into retail, back into the home center stores. I went to work for Somerville Lumber. They had quite a few stores in New England and they were branching out, going down south. I helped set up a couple of those when I was working for them. And they turned around and shut down. I did not have a good reputation at this point. Pretty much every company I worked for went out of business. Um, then I went to work for the local newspaper. And that I started out delivering bundles, driving the big green trucks around, delivering to carriers and delivering to stores. Um, Slipped out of the truck one day and got injured, and they put me on temporary light duty. Well, temporary wasn't so temporary. They put me in customer service, and that's where I was until I left, until the company let me go for budget cuts. Um, and when they let me go, I just hung around, did nothing for a few years. After working nights, weekends, daytime, in the retail field, when you're working in home centers, you got all kinds of weird hours. Even with the newspaper, I had to work weekends. And my wife ended up working for the newspaper as an independent contractor. As a matter of fact, even to this day, we still deliver newspapers at night. Our day starts at 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm up till maybe 10, 11 o'clock at night. And so after a couple of years, I had to do something. But me and my wife, we had some money. We own rental properties, and she's got a couple of businesses that she does. And we took a cruise from Boston to Bermuda, a 7-day cruise. We had young twins with us at the time, so we had to get a 2-bedroom suite. Well, I can tell you, folks, when you get a suite on a cruise ship, you get spoiled. You get butler service 24/7, onboard concierge. You want to make a reservation for a shore excursion or make reservations at one of the restaurants on the ship, you just call them and they take care of you. And a few other perks. So after the cruise, I enjoyed it so much, I wanted to help other people enjoy vacationing. I became a travel agent, hooked up with an international host company, gave me a website, back office. They kept specials up to date. I said, oh, this is great. I'll be getting customers in through them. Let me tell you, folks, doesn't always work that way. I get nothing in from them except for the website. Um, so I heard people putting ads on Facebook. I said, okay, how difficult can it be? I fudged my way through it, put a couple of ads out, got a couple of clients, but nothing paid off. And then, like I was saying earlier, COVID hit. That was not the time to start a travel business, folks. So after COVID, I saw this guy had an ad on Facebook. I said, hey, if I'm going to be doing marketing, I might as well learn from somebody that's been doing it. This guy was doing marketing for 15 years at the time. He had a, he had large clients like Procter and Gamble, Orange Theory Fitness, Dave and Buster's. He's done marketing for some big national brands. So I said, hey, this guy must know what he's doing. He had an online course that he was making it into a certification course. So I took his first certification course, 16 weeks online, couple of hours, one day a week for 16 weeks, and had to go out to San Diego for graduation. And he rented Padre Stadium for the entire day out there. It's not cheap to rent a major league stadium for the entire day. Not only did he rent the stadium, he had a fireworks display when it got dark, brought in a couple of guest speakers. One of them, one of the speakers he brought in was Les Brown, one of the most sought after motivational speakers in the world. The year after the graduation that he brought Damon John from Shark Tank in to be a speaker. These are the kind of people he hangs out with. Right now, he's got over 300,000 students in 75 countries around the world. So I look at it this way. I learned marketing from one of the best. And that's how I got to do what I'm doing now. And I've expanded on the marketing, going into live stream TV and radio and doing this podcast. So you
There
never
we
know
go.
where one thing's going to lead.
That's right. It tends to be how the journey goes. The dominoes keep tipping over the next domino, ripple effect. However you want to do it, everyone to look at it. So back to the book. So with this book and purpose, give us a little idea about, what you put into your book. What was your contribution? What's the gist of what your page is about?
Basically, you just heard it.
Okay.
How I got into it. No, I didn't go back to childhood, but from working at the newspaper on up, it's basically what my story is. I have a two-page paragraph in the book. Some people have four. Some people only went with one page. Who knows? I'm actually considering getting a chapter in one of the other three books, going more into detail what I just said.
Yeah, all right, sounds good. Just kind of want to give our viewers out there, just kind of a close glimpse, tease on, what's waiting for them, in your part. And there's all the other authors that they can enjoy. Good stuff. So a question I want to come back to you with, John, is we're at this tour, our 17-year-old is, she's looking around at colleges and stuff like that. We're up at the University of Wisconsin, Eau Claire today, and the dean was talking, the dean of the university. And so he brings up about the question, as teenagers are in life, maybe younger, maybe as a youngster, like who do you want to be when you grow up? And he's like, that's a limiting question, because when you're grappling at that answer, you've got that limited scope of kind of what you're reaching for to answer that question. So he said, for what he does at the university level, higher learning, he likes to suggest the question, what problem in the world do you want to solve? So I'm going to bring that to you, John. What problem in the world do you want to solve?
What problem in the world? I want to bring businesses back to what they used to be, where you could go a block away and there's a solo entrepreneur with a booming business going. There's a lot of them out there that have business. Yeah, they're getting by, but they're barely getting by. And you see the owners, as long as the store is open, they're in the store because they're not making enough money to pay people to come in and work so they can go enjoy their family. These are the people that need the help. They need to get the word out about their business to get more customers coming in. it's one thing about having an online business, but having a brick and mortar business, you need people coming in the door. And that's one of the things with the internet now. If people are looking for something, they can go online, order it, and it gets delivered to their door. I mean, people do that with groceries now. They call Uber delivers. The person will go shopping for them, pick up what they want, what they put in on the list, and bring it to their house and deliver it to them. Ordering food, same thing. How many people just call up and order food and it gets delivered to the house? Folks, take your family, go out to a restaurant, relax, enjoy it. What else can I say about that?
There you go. There you go. So yeah, good stuff, John. Boy, what an exciting episode today. What an opportunity for people and for all of our fans out there, all the viewers, all the subscribers. This is a real signature show. What an opportunity to see the man, the myth, the legend, as they say, John Petros Sr., the creator of this show, and hear what was behind the show. We got the backdrop, we got the foreshadowing, we got the 360 view and review. And so thanks for providing this, John. So we're at the give me five portion of the show. Give me five, John. There you go. Give me five. And I say give me five, meaning you could pack 5 more minutes, or in 5 minutes we could go encore. You've done that with some of your guests that are other people, not yourself. So take it away, John. This is your show. How are you finishing it off? You're at your final segment here. What would you like to do?
Well, one of the things I have coming up, like I said, there's 42 people in the book. I've opened up this podcast to these 42 entrepreneurs to come on and see if they'll give us a brief overview of what they do for their business and the purpose behind it. Not to take away from the book, folks, let me tell you. But I'm trying to get the two ladies that put it together to be the first ones. Sue Brook, who used to do what's known as alignable on the road. She used to travel around the country for a year and a half, almost 2 years, living in a motorhome, driving around the country, making visits to the in-person events that ambassadors from Alignable run, like myself. She was employed with Alignable up until August, I believe it was. And then now she got together with a bunch of other people, I think 12 of them, to put this group together on Alignable. And by the way, I forgot to mention, they made it a nonprofit organization. It's a nonprofit group. So any money that they take in, I believe, is going to help small businesses. So the proceeds that they get from the book and any leftovers from the authors signing up goes to help small businesses. If you go to their website, businesswithapurpose.org, you'll find all the information in there about the organization. If you're on Alignable and you're listening to this, you don't belong to the group, belong to the group. It's a great group. They've already got over 2,000, probably close to 3,000 by now in that group alone. Just keep an eye out for the book. And if you're close to me, if you know me, and you watch this, hey, you buy the book, I'll autograph it.
There you go. Excellent stuff. What an opportunity. Get an autograph book by this author of the book, John Petros Sr. So John, for your show, is that a wrap, or do you have more you wanted to show
That's
while
gonna
we're
be
on
a
here?
wrap. I am working on some other guests coming up in 2 weeks. I have a gentleman that was also employed by Alignable, who used to do a lot of the PR work for Alignable. He's been doing PR for years, and he's back with his own PR business. He's coming on again. I had him on a couple of weeks ago. Chuck will be coming back on. Only this time, the reason why he's coming back on again is one of the things that he does on Alignable. One of his old friends from 30 some odd years ago happened to pop in online on Alignable on his program, and they're both coming together on my podcast. I think that's coming up on April 10th. So that should be quite interesting. Long lost friends coming together live on my show. Um, Another person I am working on, probably in probably about another month and a half to 2 months. If anybody recognizes this guy with me from the show that was on TV, Cake Boss. I had the privilege of meeting him February 28th in Lowell. He came up for celebrations kicking off their bicentennial year, and he made the birthday cake for the city of Lowell. I am working on getting him on my podcast. So that will be an episode that will be, I believe, very well watched, because I will make sure the word gets out long. I keep mentioning it. So I'm already advertising it, folks. I just don't know when it's going to be yet. And I've got a few other famous people I'm working on. So I don't not only do local businesses from Alignable. I'm going beyond that now, Kurt.
There we go. Reaching beyond. John Petros Sr. right here. Thank you, John, for great show, great plan. Catching all of us out here with an unexpected twist to, what you threw in here for today. But yeah, it worked out really good because, hey, you've been doing this show a long time. And what a great check-in. To check in to say, boy, we've been listening to John guy for a year and a half. And, maybe some of those Alignable folks, I've known John for a few years, who knows? And be able to have today's episode just fits into the meld, fits in the program really well. What a great idea. So, yes, indeed, it is Friday, March 27th, 2026. Put this in your journal, folks. You heard the story so that, when John Petros Sr. becomes that character that, there gets to be a lot of rumblings about around the world. And, people are like, well, who's that John Petros Sr. guy? I can say, oh, I can give you a lot of insight. I got this episode from Friday, March 27, 2026. Revolutionize Your Marketing. What a story behind the show itself. It's all right here, packed in today's video. Share it around, folks. Share it around. Make
What
sure to subscribe. Don't miss the future episodes by subscribing to the channel.
One other thing too, I mentioned about those other three books that they're going to start working on, that they're taking authors for. If you go on and you want to be an author, you don't have to be from Alignable, folks. You just have to be a business owner. Just go to the website, click the button to sign up, and just let them know you heard it from me.
There you go. You heard it from John Petros Sr. So, yeah, again, I'm Kurt Roskopf, co hosting with John here today. It's a different trade and practice and art form to do a show and have the guest of your show be yourself. So, you just saw how that works. And it's not too bad to have a wingman to kind of come back around and say, okay, the monologue got so far. Let's dialogue. Let's do it together. So, I'm Kurt Roskopf out here in Milwaukee. Yes, we are traveling Milwaukee, folks. You are seeing our Wauwatosa, Wisconsin water tower. So from Milwaukee to Mill City, I'm Kurt Roskopf, co-hosting with John Petros Sr. This has been your Revolutionize Your Marketing show by Mill City Marketing MA. Again, from John Petros Sr. Write that name down, write the company name down, write the show name down, subscribe to the channel, do all the things. Because John's been saying it the last couple months, this show just keeps getting better. And he gave you some allusions to the idea that the best is yet to come. Don't miss it, folks. We'll see you next time, live at 5 Eastern every Friday. Hooray!
See you, folks.
Live stream of Kurt.
Hi, Emily. Didn't know you were out there.
Hi, John. So John, can I get your copy of your logo?
Copy of my logo. Yeah, I will send it over to you.
Okay, so it's good.
Like this one? My
Also,
MCM. That's from my website. You go to my
okay.
website, you can order clothes, cups. You can even order sports jackets, sports
Boy.
for sports teams.
Oh boy,
Cheaper than when you go to the stadiums.
I can imagine.
Same quality, but about $100 cheaper.
Uh,
Hockey, baseball, basketball, football. However, I did not see the Patriots on there.
oh boy,
I have to call them about that.
yeah. Garrett, I can't imagine you guys are being close to home. Being by Wauwatosa.
Yeah. Yeah, that website I
Kurt can hear
did
me
all
or not.
that's Kurt knows the website. I got all my stuff on there. Don't you, Kurt? We still recording, Kurt?
How's life, John? Hear me. Like we're still alive, but that's the AI.
Yeah. Ah, Something's actually working over here. Amazing. Simply amazing.